Hey, 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 good morning, good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Joy Life Center Coaching and Consulting. We're here today. We're got to start our group. We have people waiting, and we're going to be talking about dangerous emotions today. So hold tight. I'm going to start admitting people. I'm so glad you're here. God bless you. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Hey,
morning.
Bianca, Miss Susu.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sister Lupe. Good morning, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today, we're going to be talking about dangerous emotions. You know how those emotions that we feel, remember, we talked about our thoughts, our behaviors, and our emotions. Excuse me, our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Well, we're going to be talking about specifically what some of those emotions are that's dangerous. So, before we get into all of that, we want to go ahead and check in for this morning. So I think Miss Bianca was our first caller, then Miss Susu, and then Sister Lupe. So if we could go ahead and check in that order, that would be great. Go ahead, Miss Bianca.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I am doing well. I'm grateful to be here and grateful to be on this line on today. And I woke up, dressed up, I'm showing up, and I never give up. Thank
Hey,
you.
I love that. Thank you. Good morning, Miss Susu.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Miss Jackson, to all that is on the line. And I'm checking in. I feel great this morning. I feel really good. Good night's sleep, and I'm just ready. I'm just ready to improve my life. Just ready to be fed. I'm
Yeah.
ready to receive. As Miss Bianca say, I'm grateful, very grateful. Be in the land of the living. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Excellent. Excellent. Sister Lupe.
Hello. Good morning, everyone.
Good
I'm
morning.
excited. I look forward to these therapeutic meetings. It really helps me jump my start. My starting off in a good foot, and just being able to recognize anything that I'm experiencing, and be able to gather my thoughts, and this is very therapeutic for me, so I'm very grateful. Thank you, Apostle.
Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you, Sister Lupe. I'm so glad. And that's a major key when how we start our day. So I'm glad we're glad I'm glad. I'm glad that we're able to come together in the morning and just share together and to groom our thoughts and put ourselves intentionally in a place of healthiness and healing and overcoming. So thank you so much, Sister Lupe. And God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for chiming in on this morning. Again, we're going to be talking about dangerous emotions, those emotions that is those red flag emotions. We've talked about red flags and green flags as far as the signs of danger and the signs of safety. And what do we do when we see those red flags, those danger flags, those danger signs? And how do we put ourselves back in safety? Well, guess what? We want to also take a step closer. We want to step into our inner being, and we want to identify those red flag emotions. Remember, thoughts, emotions, they all have to do with our behaviors, what our next behavior is going to be. So a man thinketh, so is he. We have the power and control to cast down anything and everything that's try to affect our thinking, that's trying to affect our thoughts. This is how come we have to stay in readiness, as the word of God says, to cast down anything that exalts itself against the truth of God's word, against the obedience of God's word. So whatever your truth is this morning, we have to be ready to fight against those things that come to violate our truth. The truth of the matter is I'm no longer walking in my old behavior. So anything that comes to violate that, or comes to challenge that, or comes to move me into the old behaviors, guess what? I have to stand in readiness with my tools to overcome those things that's trying to overcome me. So these things are called red flag emotions, dangerous emotions. So I want to deal with the emotions, my feelings. We've talked about the thoughts, but we want to deal with those feelings, those dangerous emotions that our thoughts may produce, those dangerous emotions that we may just feel because it's cold outside, because the winter is coming. You know, we have what's called seasonal depression. So when the atmosphere and the climate starts to change, guess what? Sometimes our feelings and our emotions starts to change based on what we've been through, based on our molecular makeup, based on a lot of different things. So with that being said, we want to find out what are our red flag emotions, because sometimes it's the reason I get angry. It's the reason why I stay on the internet. It's the reason why I isolate. It's the reason that I enable. It's the reason why it's like, this is why I do this. Whatever it is, use, lie, have promiscuous sex, whatever the unhealthy behavior is, this is the reason why. So even though it may not be the reason why, but when you feel a certain way, it triggers you into your old actions. So I'm going to read something to you. I'm going to read to you some of the most common negative emotions that trigger us to our old behaviors, the most common ones. Number one is loneliness, and we're going to talk about that. I'm going to read something to you. It is difficult to give up friends and activities that are a part of your compulsive behaviors and your unhealthy behaviors, your unhealthy lifestyles. Being separated from friends and family leaves people feeling lonely. Often the new friends and family members that are not familiar with your unhealthy behaviors, sometimes they're not ready to get together with you yet. I'm sorry. With their sometimes friends and family, they're healthy for you, but because you've been in your unhealthy behaviors for so long, they're not quite ready to get back with you or talk to you. We talked about those things in our making amends and our repairing relationships group. They're not ready to risk getting back into a relationship that didn't work prior. So the recovering person is stranded between groups of friends and the feeling of loneliness. And that can be a driving force that moves you back to your old compulsive, unhealthy behaviors. So loneliness, have loneliness been a unhealthy or a dangerous emotion for you that pushes you back to your unhealthy behaviors? Go ahead, unmute your phone and share.
Sister Lupe here. So the question is, has loneliness ever pushed me back to unhealthy behavior?
Yeah, is it a dangerous emotion for you that can have the power to push you back into your unhealthy behaviors?
I think there was a time where it was, because it would loneliness also leads to boredom and idle time. And then there was a point in my life where every time I felt lonely or bored or something awful happened in my life, I will always go back to the neighborhood. I always go back to the hood, and I found comfort in the hood through drugs and catching up with some old friends, and they're over there gambling and drinking and partying. It looks like a really good time, right? So now I know that most of them are on drugs, like really strung out or dead. And I don't live that life anymore. Even I've had homies that will go back just to have a beer and get killed. So, I witness a lot of drive-bys or just being in my neighborhood, and then just visiting and trying to show off that I'm clean, that I'm good, that I have
Right,
a job, that I have a
right.
car. And next thing you know, there's a drive-by and I'm ducking for my life. And I'm like, this is not this is not the life for me. I'm in my mid-30s. I have kids. No one's gonna
Yes.
take care of my kids. So I think that was very dangerous. Amen.
Amen.
And then once I'm there, I'm sorry, it's like they want me to do something, either beat up somebody or drive, be the getaway car. So it's like, okay, I just came to have a drink. I didn't come here to gangbang, but that's what they expect. You're
It
in
come
it
with the
for life.
territory.
Yes.
Oh my God. Sister Lupe, you have been tickling my fancy. And I tell you, I love how she can look at this stuff and laugh now, but this is the honest truth. Like she said, I go there and we all have been there where, I've changed my life now and I want them to see me now. Yeah, I remember me back when this was that and I was this, but I want you to see me now. It's a regular occurrence in our mind. We have to identify I can't go back to the old places, at least not right now, at least not in this capacity. But I thank God for the covering that was on her life and the protection. But because like she said, when you go back, it's so easy to get drugged back into the old unhealthy behaviors. It's so easy. But she was like, I didn't come here for all that. I just came to say hi. I came to have a drink. Thank you so much for sharing that. But truly, loneliness can drive us. It's a dangerous emotion because it can drive us into some less problematic former behaviors that will lead us right on into the streamline of what we're recovering from. Thank you so much for that. Anyone else? Loneliness, is that a dangerous emotion for you?
Bianca, I would have to say that it had been
Mm-hmm.
a dangerous place. Um, Again, like I stated before, leaving what I call the hood
Mm-hmm.
and moving out. But when it was dull and dry where I was staying at, it was always an enticement. If
Mm-hmm.
I go back over there again, they gonna be partying, they gonna be
Yeah.
drinking, it gonna be some fighting going on over there,
Some
and
drama.
always excitement. It was always excitement on that street. I mean, never a dull moment. Never
Right.
a dull moment. So yes, it back in the days, I would say yes, it would be a dangerous thing. Today I would say no. Um, because I don't feel like I go through loneliness
Mhm.
anymore. I may be alone at sometimes, may feel alone, but I don't feel lonely. So
Okay.
that's the way it is for me. So that kind of stuff now would not even make me even think twice. Oh, let's go over there because they got some action going on now. Oh, yeah. It wouldn't even it wouldn't even cross my mind. I'm like, really? We still doing this?
Right. Right.
20, 30 years later, this is what we still
Yes. We still
so
doing this. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Bianca. I see that loneliness definitely can be a dangerous emotion. We're talking about dangerous emotions today that push us back into our unhealthy behaviors. And sometimes when we're in that lonely state, it just the requirement, because studies have shown humans need humans, people need people, and sometimes when we're isolated, we're withdrawn, or if we're just in the midst of our recovery where we cannot go around those old friends because of the triggers that they may be, or just even the separation of lifestyle that I'm promoting today. Many reasons. Sometimes we find ourselves in between loneliness and new groups of friends versus the old groups of friends. So loneliness can be a very dangerous emotions, and I thank you guys for sharing your stories, because many times in that life change, that loneliness provokes us to want to be around somebody. We want to do something, we want to be somewhere, and lots of times it's only what we've experienced thus far that we know where to be or where to go. Again, remember how your brain works. Your brain is just going to always give the neurotransmitters that's going to bring you, it's going to provoke the memories of pleasure. So when you start thinking about, oh, I used to have a good time in the hood, that automatic recall seemed like it never recalls the bad times. Like she said, where you had to duck for your lives. It never recalls the bad time. But one time I realized, even in my own life, recovering from drugs and alcohol, I remember a time when I was not yet in that space. I was in abstinence of drugs and alcohol, but I didn't know, because I wasn't in recovery, I wasn't being taught. So I didn't know that there had to be a separation. But I remember being over an uncle's house, like you guys say, the hood, or that 117th Street, where I have an uncle where we'd be over his house, and that's what we did. We partied over there. We drank, we smoked, the domestic violent couples, they would get high and hit each other over the head with dumbbells. It would be blood gashing everywhere. And the heroin addicts would be in the bathroom. The cocaine addicts would be around the gambling table asking for $10, $15, $20. The gamblers would be gambling, saying, get on out of here, move now. And playing they stuff, and it was just, I was sitting there one day, and I was on the porch, and I'll never forget, I said, what are you doing here? Why am I here? I'm clean and sober, but I have surrounded myself in my old lifestyle. And that's when I realized I have to find a new lifestyle for myself. And loneliness can always drive us back to the old lifestyle. We have to remember, sometimes we do get addicted to the drama. We go back to the hood because that's where we know to go. But also the things that happen in the hood, somewhere we've become addicted to it. We've become addicted to the domestic violent relationships that we were once in. We become addicted to the unhealthy people and the toxic people in our lives, because we're connected to them. This is why recovery is so important in our lives, that we have to stay so intentional, because our minds can always take a trip back. A trigger or a moment of loneliness can be an automatic recall for something that put you back into a place where you don't want to be. So thank you for sharing that, guys. I'm gonna go to the next dangerous emotion, and that's anger. Anger, the intense irritability experienced in the early ages of recovery, can cause flooding of anger. For many people, instantly it triggers them. The rage comes directly from the limbic area of the brain, which is the area that's addicted to behaviors and substances and activities. Once a person is in that frame of mind, it is a short trip to relapse, and possibly a long trip back to your rational state of mind. How many of you identify anger as a dangerous emotion for you? Please go ahead, unmute your phone and share.
Sister Lupe, oh my, oh my, oh my. This is by far the one of the one that I number one that I struggle with the most is anger.
Okay.
And yes, it's a very dangerous emotion.
Yeah.
I seem to take 5 steps forward and then 10 steps backwards.
Yeah.
It's harder than any addiction I had to face. Just it's almost like it just happens in an impulsive, like before I even realize it already came out of my mouth.
Okay.
Now before, as a young child, um I grew up in a very angry environment.
Okay.
So it was instilled in me as a very young person. And I was very scared at the time But once I got into my, 12, 13, I realized that my anger will help me defend myself.
Okay.
So I've carried that through the years. So now it comes out without me even realizing it. Before it will come out just fighting. I will
Okay.
fight. Somebody would tell me my mama this, my mama that. I didn't even have any comebacks. I'll just fight you.
Wow.
So now it's like verbal. It could be very verbal. It could become verbal abuse. So because I know I don't want to go to jail, put hands on somebody. But yeah, so that's something that I struggle with the most, and it's a very dangerous, because once you say something, you cannot take it back.
Yes, yes. Wow, thank you so much for that, Sister Lupe. And I love how you acknowledge that anger is a very, very, very dangerous emotion for you. And then these things we learn to be proactive, but we're going to talk about some solutions. We're going to continue to identifying these dangerous emotions. Thank you so much, Sister Lupe. Anyone else recognize anger to be a dangerous emotion for you?
Yes, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Kashara.
Hi, yes. Just listening to Miss Lupe and hearing, her synoptics about being angry. Angry, anger is a very dangerous place to be.
Yeah.
And I struggle with that because of things that I have to go through.
Mhm.
And I find myself just not wanting to do it, get angry because I shouldn't have to do it.
Okay.
I feel like I'm in a position and there's nothing I can do about it. Like my hands are tied and
Mhm.
there's nothing I can do but accept what has been placed, in my path
Mhm.
while other people go free. And then I get angry all over again. So angry till it make me want to say things, do things that's not that I shouldn't do.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because when I look at the situation, it's not right. You know, I'm looking at life right now. It's like I miss my time. I know God is yet shining, but I miss my time as a woman to do things that I would like to do, and I'm tied up. So I get angry when I see other people going free. I mean, I couldn't wait for my children to get grown so that I can have my life.
Yes.
And then only to be stopped again, yes, I get angry. So it's very dangerous, especially being in the position that I'm in.
Yes.
I really have to pray hard that God would hold me, and then I look at the situation and I look at, the eyes of the situation, and
Mhm.
I have to bring myself in because it's not it's not it's not anyone's fault but the individual. So anger, uh in relationship, all of that, you try to hold on to the integrity that's on the inside of you. But when you think about everything that you've been through and you see that situation still staring you in the face, you
Yeah.
get angry all over again.
Yes. Yes.
Like it hasn't changed. It's
Right.
still like this,
Right.
and then you get angry all over again. But then you're put in a position because of who you are.
Mhm.
You shouldn't allow things to bother you. Well, I'm human. I'm not made of
Exactly.
steel. I'm human. So yes, all of those emotions are all over the place. And it's dangerous because being who God have called me to be can really I can misrepresentate
Mhm.
God, and I don't ever want to do that.
Right.
I never want to do that. A lot of even people say I have a very firm tongue
Mhm.
because it's just a sternness, in me. Not that I'm mad at them, but
Mhm.
when everything around you triggers it, then
Right.
when you speak out, it sounds like you're being,
You're
you know,
angry.
you're mean or you're angry, but it's not that. It's just, you know, we definitely have to pray and, you know, again, thank God for you. And it's there because a lot of times when you're not aware of things, you don't see it. And when I come to these meetings, I see them. I see the things. I can identify with them. And those are the things that I desire to be, the areas I desire to be helped in, because I don't ever want to portray being a Christian mean. You don't ever want to do that because people be like, oh, she mean. I don't want to do that. So it can be dangerous on every side. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much for that, Ms. Kashara. I love that. You know, we also dealing with the anger from our past, our losses, you know, dealing with the anger of the loss of time, you know, the loss of innocence, the loss, like you said, like my kids are grown, you know, now it's time for me. You know, there was an expectation that's still not met, and there can be some anger about it. I thank you so much for bringing up that portion, you know, because sometimes it's something that's innate, and sometimes it's something that's learned, but sometimes it's just something circumstantial that has developed because of my circumstances. So I love that. And I also want to extract from her sharing, you know, like she said, who she is in God today. And we all are someone in Christ Jesus. So therefore, we don't want to misrepresent him. We don't want to misrepresent what who we're called to do, or misrepresent the kingdom. So therefore, like she says, it takes a lot of praying. And today, now she's receiving some help and some identification on how to deal with that anger. Because remember, anger is not a sin. It is emotion. It's not good or bad. It's just your emotion. It's your feeling. When someone violates you, when something violates you, that anger is the indicator, that person's did something wrong. If someone slapped you and you just sat there, you know, then your indicator is broken, you know. But things have harmed us in our life, and things have violated us in our life, and things have pushed us in a direction that we didn't want to go. And the anger that we felt was the indicator that, hey, they've crossed my boundary. So now that I feel the anger, and it's okay to feel anger, it's just being in control of the anger. How do I control it? We'll get into that. Thank you, you guys, for your identification. Anyone else on anger? Is that a dangerous emotion for you? Let's go to deprivation. I want you to know that what you're doing right now to change your life, like Ms. Kashara said, now I'm coming to groups to identify certain things so I can get better. I want you to know that anything you do, any investment that you have in yourself is an achievement. It's an achievement. And sometimes those achievements are met in ways that sometimes we feel deprived, because I can no longer go and do this or no longer do that. Let me read this to you. Usually recovering people feel very good and proud about what they've been able to do. Recovery is a positive thing. Sometimes situations exist that makes recovering people feel like they have to give up good times or good things. Recovery becomes like a negative state. Like, I had to let that go. I had to let them go. You know, like it's a bad thing because I'm doing it for my recovery. You know, so sometimes it takes on a bad state. It becomes a sentence, something to be endured, feeling that using our behaviors to have to separate from things is a bad thing. So positive, sober behaviors become negative, and that quickly leads to relapse. So it's like, now I got to stay away from people. I got to watch what I say. I got to write down. I got to journal. I got to identify triggers, and I got to stop going over here, or stop going over there. I used to could go over my family's house, but I can't do that no more because they trigger me. Oh, this is boring. This is for the birds, guys. It takes on like a negative connotation because you haven't become equipped in your new lifestyle yet. So I want to ask anyone, has deprivation ever been a dangerous emotion to any of you? Please go ahead, unmute your phone and share. Deprivation, where you feel deprived. I want to say something, but I can't say anything. I'm deprived. I want to go have a good time like everybody else. I like how Kashara was saying, you know,
Ah.
there you go. Go ahead.
Yes, I feel like I am deprived
Yes.
of, like I said, I have a best friend and I would love to spend time with her. Maybe sometime pack up and just go away
Yes.
for, I am gonna say a weekend, a whole week, and just, but I feel like I'm deprived from that. I feel like I'm stuck, I feel like I'm in a situation that I can do anything. It's not even the fact that I'm stuck, because there's things that I do with my family. I do things with them, but at some point there becomes a time where you just need some you time.
Yes.
And what do you say? Oh, well, I'm just leaving until I get back. No, you can't do that, So I feel deprived from the things that I would love to do. I would love to go on a cruise. I would love to do, and I'm deprived from that because I'm stuck. I can't. So yeah, even in that situation, it makes me angry because and then when people go places and I'm like, oh man, I could have went.
Go.
I want to go, but you can't, because well, it's only, we're only the ladies are going, and I'm looking like, wow, and I feel deprived from the things that I want to do. Even, I'm a single woman. I won't say, I'm decent looking, but even if a man was interested in me, what am I gonna do? I'm deprived from trying to even accumulate a life because I'm stuck. And it's not a bad thing, because there are some very precious moments in my situation, trust me. But there are some times where I want to go. I want to go let my hair down, and just I just want to love on me, even sometimes in situations, if my best friend can't go, I want to be able to get on an airplane and just fly and just go and lay in a nice hotel and just think about some things, not worry about what I gotta do, what I'm facing at home, what are the oppositions at home. I'm deprived from all of that. I can't do that.
Yes.
So it does. It makes me angry. It makes me sad. It's emotions all over the place. And it's not their fault. It's not. It's not my family's fault.
Right.
And I have to remember that. I have to remember that. This wasn't by their choice.
Right.
But even in the situation, I truly thank God for giving me the strength to be able to do it. But it doesn't mean that I don't want to have some me time sometime or another.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm so glad that you were able to release that. I heard that passion in your voice and borderline anger, like you shared, and that can develop anger. That deprivation where I'm deprived, and even the listing of those things, it does produce anger. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Miss Susu. Thank you.
Hey, man, thank you. Thank you, someone that spoke. But as far as depriving, I don't think I know there are some things I probably would like to do. I haven't done, I'm finding myself too. But I don't feel with the situation of, my children, grandchildren, I'm always there. I don't feel that I'm being deprived. Because the only way I could be deprived is I deprive myself,
Okay.
So because I've, had offers to go places and things like that. I just don't want to travel, and do certain things. But in me, I feel good about what I do, and I wouldn't just call it deprived. I just would want to do some things though, but I just haven't did them. That's on me. And
Yeah.
I don't know about anger. You know, like I say, sometimes I wouldn't call it anger like that.
Mhm.
But you know, I get so upset about some things, but I try not to hold it. You know, it's internal and then it's gone. You know, but as far as deprive, I deprive myself if it's being deprived.
Mhm.
Okay, that's it.
What about loneliness? Since you hit on the other two, what about loneliness?
I don't feel lonely, you know, because someone is always around or something, either the right or the wrong one, you know. So it's always somebody around. But and then, you know, even sometimes I accept some of the wrongness. So someone to be there, but I won't say there's loneliness. You could call it loneliness, I guess, but just to have somebody around, you know. I won't say I need, but I have, but I endure it though. But I'd like to have someone around.
Well, let me let
So
me let me kind of give a little bit more context to the question, because I hear what you're saying, but you gave me a little hook right there. Like you said, whether it's the right one or the wrong one, you just like having someone around. Now, our question today is, with these dangerous emotions, which ones are dangerous to your recovery? So that means that I'm in my recovery. Because I'm in my recovery, there's some places I can't go. There's some people I can't be around. So when you say, you know, when the right one or the wrong one is around, are you being faithful to your recovery then? Because maybe you're not feeling these things because you're not in that state of your recovery yet, where you are separating from people that you have to separate from, or repositioning them, because sometimes it's not like a total banishment, but sometimes we have to reposition some people in our lives. Like I think Sister Kashara brought up the 3 Ps: our personal life, our private life, and our public life. So is there, in your recovery, are you have you gotten to that place of your recovery where you are separating from people, where you are experiencing the loneliness because you don't have those unhealthy people around? Are you feeling deprivation because you stop going around certain people, places, or things that may trigger you to your unhealthy behaviors? Have you got to that place in your recovery? Because maybe that's why you're not experiencing those emotions yet.
mm, well, the answer to that, like I said, sometimes I have, but like I say, with the classes, I'm getting better, you know. I
Yeah.
don't allow, I just go forth and go through
Okay.
without having someone here, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, that's about it. I don't you know, I don't just fully fall in, you know, let someone take control like that just because no one else is here. But no, I
Okay.
stand my ground, you know, like to say, going trembling, you know, shoot, hey, I can stay by myself, shoot. But yeah, I'm doing better with that, you know. I say no, and as far as my timing is consumed, my self-care doing me, I can say no sometime now, you know, most of the time now. But
Okay.
it's a process. It's a
It
process.
is. It
Right.
is. It is. Are you feeling any of the benefits yet from your recovery, from the stage that you're in currently? Because like you said,
Ye-
I'm progressing. So are you feeling any what are some of the signs that you've identified of your recovery? What is some of the good feeling that you're getting? The positivity or the strength, like if we stop smoking cigarettes, you start getting more of your breath back. You might have more activity. So, as
Right.
a result of your recovery, what are some of the benefits that you've received?
Well, I'm getting a little more respect for one, you know, so that's the
Hey,
main thing, a little more respect, you know. Sometimes
wow.
Sometimes they have to bite the tongue. I mean, they start off with a loud mouth, but then they come down. They come down. So with more respect, you know, for me. Yeah.
Wow.
And
That's
that
worth it
eases me.
all.
Right, right. That respect, you know. Uh-uh.
That's worth it all. I love that. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Susu. Thank you. So we've talked about loneliness, anger, and deprivation. So, it's very important to identify these red flag emotions, because if I know that feeling a certain way can push me back into my old behaviors, or even push me close enough that an accident can happen and I'll fall back into my old behaviors. Knowing this, then I need to be proactive. I need to be more intentional with my red flag behaviors. We all have internal triggers, but there are some emotions that are greater than others. There are some emotions that are more powerful than others. When I'm feeling deprived, when I'm feeling angry, or when I'm lonely, loneliness can drive me to a place that I ought not be. And oh, how Sister Lupe shared about, how she's had old homeboys that have come back to the hood just to have a beer and lost their lives, because they could not break that tie between them and the connection with their old lifestyle. Because our unhealthy behaviors, they develop a lifestyle. The behaviors are so we do them, we do them, we do them until it becomes a lifestyle, that this is just what we do. It becomes a part of our lives. Remember, watch your thoughts because they become your words. Watch your words because they become your actions. Watch your actions because they become your habits. Watch your habits because they become your character. And watch your character because it becomes your destiny. And we have to remember that it all starts from a thought. And if we continue to entertain those unhealthy thoughts, we're going to have some feelings behind them. We may experience, even in our recovery, some loneliness. We may feel some anger, and we may feel some deprivation. And it's not that those are unhealthy emotions. Emotions, again, they're not good or bad. They're yours. That's how you feel. But how we respond to how we feel is what's important, because that becomes our actions. That becomes our actions. When we respond to our behaviors, this becomes when we respond to our emotions, these become our behaviors, our actions, the things that we do. And if we continue to do them, they become our habits, they become our lifestyle. So some lifestyles need to change. So that's how come if I want to change my lifestyle, I have to stop recirculating the same people, or recycling and circulating the same people, the same activities. Again, I talked about how we break these cycles, how to break the cycle. I have to learn how to notice the power that I have and break the cycle there at that thought, at that power point that I have. I have to notice where my power is most effective. As I was sharing on Sunday in church, we talked about breaking generational curses, and we can't break a curse that we haven't first broken in us. So we're trying to break this in us so that our children can live healthier lives, our ministries can live healthier lives, our people that God has put in our sphere of influence can live healthier lives, because now they're influenced by healthiness, they're influenced by self-control, they're influenced by temperance, rather than the response of loneliness, or rather the response of anger or deprivation. So I want to ask, I'm going to ask a question. Are there any other negative emotional states that are dangerous to you? We've talked about those three. Are there any others that you need to acknowledge today? Go ahead, unmute your phone and share.
I also think it's like grieving. When you're grieving, it could be or mourning. You probably lost a loved one, or even betrayal.
Yes.
I think I want to go with betrayal right now.
Okay.
Let me go to that one. I think because betrayal could lead to anger and vengeance, having a vengeful heart and wanting that person to be served justice. And it's hard to let go and move on because that person looks happy and you're still hoping that God God does something to that person,
Do
and it's like, do
something.
something, let me see.
Let
So
me
I was,
see it.
so I think like vengeance, feeling that jealousy, envy, rejection, hurt.
Yes, absolutely. Wow. Thank you so much, Sister Lupe. Absolutely. So experiencing betrayal can start a whole avalanche of emotions that are dangerous to our lives, our lifestyle, and our new recovery. Thank you so much for that. Anyone else? What's some other dangerous emotions that you may have identified?
Because everyone's perfect.
I think they're trying to examine themselves and find out what else
I'm like,
is
I
it.
got a whole lot. If y'all ain't gonna go, I'll go.
Oh, you're so funny. Oh, come on, guys. Who else on the line? I've identified yet another dangerous emotion that I need to watch out for. Go ahead, unmute your phone and share.
I want to say that silence,
Okay.
if I'm silent, all things building up in me, then my body and mind would explode. So
Okay.
it's on the silence of holding in, because sometimes I hold in, and then you hold in, then you're going to explode on it, and someone be hurt, or you'll be hurt, or you may have an aneurysm or something. So it's
Wow.
a silence of holding in.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. What emotion is surrounding that silence? What emotion is causing that silence? Is it feeling inadequate, maybe? Is it a passive feeling, a passive personality? What's creating that silence?
I think it would be more or less a passive, but it used to be, but I'm speaking out now, so it's not really passive now. So I'm speaking.
I love it. So I'm speaking out now. Because yes, I love that how she identified when I'm silent, I'm building up. I'm not just silent because I'm at peace. I'm silent because there's a buildup that's going on. And I have to identify where's the door? Where's the door of my buildup? What's the chief emotion that's causing my silence? Sometimes it's because, we're of a passive nature. Sometimes it's because some people are passive in nature, just like some people are aggressive in nature. But we want to find out how to not be passive and not how to be aggressive, but we want to learn how to be assertive, to assertively say or do what's in us to do or say, and so that we're not left holding the bag that leads us to stress and leads us to heart attack and like Miss Susu said, aneurysms and things like that. I'm not building on my high blood pressure. Sometimes we have to learn to find our voice. And sometimes because we feel inadequate, not saying that's anyone on the line, but sometimes when we feel inadequate, we find ourselves not saying anything. We're just kind of, because we don't want to embarrass ourselves or quote unquote make a fool out of ourselves. So we don't say anything. But I want to encourage you, practice saying something until you learn how to say it, because we're ruining our own self. We're ruining our emotional health, our mental health, and that weight, that strain. It ruins also our physical health. It elevates your blood pressure. That brings us to a shorter life, a quicker death. So we want to be able to share. I don't have to be very blunt and be like, yep, your hair is ugly. I'm just being real. We don't have to go to those measures, but we find our voice, so to speak. We find our voice, how I can say what I desire to say, and I can mean it, and I can walk away assured and proud that I spoke what I needed to speak. Sometimes we don't do that because we're afraid I don't know what to say. Well, I'm going to say something until I know how to say it. So I applaud you. Like she said, I'm speaking out now. So that's good. That's very good. Thank you so much. Anyone else? What's some other emotions that's dangerous and they're dangerous to our recovery? I don't want to go back into the old way of doing things, the old way of functioning, the old lifestyle. So what emotions do I need to look out for? Do I have to look out for sadness? When I'm sad, sometimes it make me just want to go and do what I used to do. When I'm criticized, when I'm pressured, what dangerous emotion when I'm in disgust, it just makes me want to go and do my unhealthy behavior. What emotion is yours that you know from all your past history and your unhealthy behaviors? What emotion you know that I need to beware of? Because this is the chief emotion that can bring me to a relapse of behavior. Go ahead, unmute your phone and share. Okay, so I'm going to read something to you. One of our goals during recovery is to learn how to separate thoughts, behaviors, and emotions. Once you learn this, it's possible for you to control what you think and how you behave. Is someone trying to say something? Bianca?
Yes, ma'am. I was trying to say something. For me, it would be when I feel unappreciative. That's one of my things.
Okay.
When I feel like I'm not appreciative and I know that I'm really doing or I'm trying to help or I'm trying to, whatever it is. But when you more or less take my kindness for weakness,
Yeah.
that's the thing that as they say, that gets my goat right there. That burns my grits.
Oh Lord.
That grinds my gears. So.
Okay.
But yeah, but I'm not when I don't feel appreciated.
Okay.
When I don't feel appreciated, that gets me. It was another one. What's the word? The D word that you said?
Deprived.
Yes, 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 yes. I was listening to Miss Kaitira.
Kashara. Let's call her Sister Cece.
Oh, that'd be so much better for me. When I was listening to Sister Cece, and I was listening to her and how she was saying about, just life, how you felt like, life has passed you by, because of different situations that, you may have to take on another whole situation, that you hadn't planned on doing. I too, all my children is grown now with kids of their own. But prior to that, then I took on my sister's children. So it's like, wow, here it is. I'm almost at that point where I can start relaxing and living life and going wherever I want to go. But now I got a whole nother set that I got to tend to. Right. And guess what? It's just not one child where you can say, hey, can you watch for little Pookie Doo? Right. No, it's 5 of them. Hey, can you watch 5 Pookie Doos at one time?
Wow. Yeah.
You ain't gonna get too many volunteers. Hey, I'll watch all 5 of your children here. But yeah, feeling deprived, seeing people exactly going different places, doing different things, and all that kind of stuff, and you cannot do it. With that being said, with me also depriving my own self. Because there's been times where I could do certain things, but because of my own hang-ups, I chose not to do it.
Okay.
And so then when I couldn't do it, now it's like, ooh, I really wish I could do this, or I wish I could do that, or whatever. But yeah, that being deprived and not being able to do what you would like to do, I guess that would come underneath anger. I'm sorry, I'm going backwards because I was kind of
That's okay. That's okay.
Things. Being angry about situations also that like, wow, I I didn't have no control over this. You know what I'm saying? And even something that I'm going through right now, um, I could be angry to
Mhm.
some degree. I could feel deprived to a certain degree,
Mhm.
but today I refuse to let those things drive me.
Wow.
I refuse to let them drive me. Yeah, it may be, it could be. I pray it don't be. But in the meantime and in between time, I'm gonna do what I can do to enjoy. Because there was a time where I let stuff like that, it ride me. It
Yeah.
drove me rather.
Yes.
It drove me. It drove me to depression. It drove me where I didn't want to talk to people.
Mhm.
Call me in 3 days, and I'm sure I've been resurrected from this problem in 3 days. Just give me 3 days. But in between that first and that third day, everything that I would endure,
Yeah.
especially upstairs in my mind.
Yes.
So today it's like, yes, this happened. Yes, that happened. Yes, I couldn't do this. And yes, I can't do that. But you know what? Oh, today, whatever I can get in, that's what I'm gonna get in. Whatever that may be. I'm gonna try to get it in to the best of my ability.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, that's amazing. How that feeling of being unappreciated can trigger every dangerous emotion in our book, not in the book, but in our book, because each of us have a dangerous emotion that we have to be aware of specifically. Thank you so much for sharing that, Miss Bianca. Some of the things that I'm gonna go ahead and read. So that you are not always acting on your feelings, it is important to recognize and begin to try to understand your emotions. We talked about anger, deprivation. We talked about loneliness. We talked about feelings of unappreciated, sometimes being too passive, the feelings that come from betrayal, the vengeful heart, and those things. You become vengeful and bitterness rises up. All these things, we have to identify the dangerous emotions so that they won't be in circuit. And there was something that Miss Bianca had shared when she talked about these dangerous behaviors that be, but at the same time she had to bring it to a stop because it would get in her head. It would get in her head, and she would lose even more time being affected, stunted, paralyzed, immobilized by the thoughts circulating and being relived in the mind. Remember, all of these things, they hit our heart. We have to change the way we think about them, because if we entertain the agony of it, guess what? The behavior that we're going to find is that we are stunted. Then one thing that I'd like to share is that on this line, one thing you guys have all said, that a lot of our dangerous emotions come from some issues of our past, some issues of what has happened to us. And of course, you guys are so correct. You're so on it. You're amazing. One thing that we have to realize is that the issues of our past have made us who we are today. My past have brought forth the makeup of who I am today. So therefore, now I have to learn how to perceive my past, how to reposition my past, and first of all, how to mourn my past. I like how Sister Lupe talked about grief. Sometimes grief can be an unhealthy emotion. And when we identify what we're grieving, because sometimes we're grieving a body, a loss of a loved one, we're grieving a friendship, we're grieving a relationship. But guess what? Sometimes our grieving isn't over natural individuals. Sometimes our grieving is everything that you guys just said, grieving the loss of time, grieving the missed opportunities, grieving the lack of money, grieving your inability to live the life that you desire to live. All those things are grieving moments, grieving hoping and wishing that you had this opportunity, but now having to grieve it because it's moved beyond your time. It's moved beyond your ability. And yes, we know God has all things in his hand, but we also understand that there are some seasons we don't get back. We understand that. There are some things that when we missed the moment, we missed it. We missed it. You know, I missed the opportunity to ask your grandmother. I missed the opportunity to ask my grandmother for forgiveness. I missed the opportunity to be the top 5 in my elementary class. I missed the opportunity to become valedictorian when I had the smarts and the potential and just didn't do it. I can't go back and relive that. So there's some things that I have to be content and I have to accept, but I have to mourn them first. Remember, there's a power in mourning. There's a power in mourning. I don't have to keep repeating the same unhealthy behaviors because I've invested so much time in it. I can take this time right now and mourn the betrayal, mourn the past, mourn the times that I was being passive, mourn it. That means that I can cry. I can mourn the time that I've lost, the money that I've spent, or the money that I didn't have, the deck of cards that's been dealt to me. Whatever it is, you can have that. You can take the time to mourn it. You take the time to cry. Take the time to be like, oh my God, I can't believe it's gone, because that's a part of acceptance. That's a part of acceptance. Let me grieve it. Let me cry over it. One of the things that I want us to try doing is journaling. Journaling. If you all would be willing, I want you to try journaling. That's a way that we can grieve, we can process, we can create new ideas, new solutions, and we can try new things to apply in our everyday life. If we stop, maybe in the morning or maybe at the end of your day, and just get you a journal book. Go to the 99-cent store, get you a nice composition book or a journal book, and date them. Date from day one, open it up, and at the end of your day, just start writing. And I'm gonna give you some tips on that, because you know, sometimes getting to know ourselves comes from spending time with ourselves. We are so busy spending time with the kids, with the spouse, paying bills, going to work, trying to get money, trying to survive, trying not to fall into the hole of life, trying not to go homeless, and trying to keep your sanity, all many things, trying to stay up in school, trying to keep up in school. So many different things that we experience in life that we lose sight of who we are. I like how Miss Susu said, she had been so overcome with her unhealthy lifestyle of enabling that she didn't know herself. She was meeting everyone else's needs, but lacking to meet her own needs, both physically as well as emotionally. Don't know anything about herself. Don't know what she likes, what she don't like. Of course, I'm using this as an example because she shared it openly on this line. And many of us, we're in the same way. Maybe we've used drugs and alcohol. Maybe we've been so focused on the internet. We on TikTok. We're on porn sites. We're doing so many different things. We're gambling. We're using drugs. We're whatever your unhealthy, unwanted behaviors are. We've been so focused in the repetitive cycle of it that I've lost sight of who I am. I've lost sight of me behind my anger. I've lost sight of me behind my depression. I've lost sight of me behind just trying to make it, going in and laying with different men, women. I've lost sight of who I am because my behaviors have been in such routine that it controlled my life, and I never stopped to take a moment for myself. So we're going to take a moment for ourselves. Let's get that composition book, and I'm going to ask you on next week, get that. If you have that composition book, get you a good writing pen. If you don't like writing in pen, get you a good writing pencil, because I want you to find a moment in the day. I'm gonna challenge you on this. Get this, and my the workbook will be coming out soon. That will also give you opportunity to write about these things that you identify when you're on these group calls, that you can jot down in your workbook. But I want you guys for now to get you a notebook. Get you a notebook. And I want you to identify, get a time that you can get with yourself. I'm gonna give you some tips on this journaling. So for one, find a private, comfortable, quiet place just for writing. Just for writing, and try to write a little each day. We're not writing books right now. If it turned into a book, hey, high five. But right now, just get you a private place where before your kids get up, before your spouse wakes up, or after they've gone to bed, or maybe while people are at school and at work. Get a quiet place. You don't have to be an hour, 2 hours. Just get you a nice, quiet, comfortable place where you can take that moment and write. And then begin taking steps of having maybe some deep breaths. Take some relaxation exercises. I shared with you guys a relaxation exercise that I utilize where you inhale through your nose. You hold it for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you exhale it slowly out of your mouth. Do that about 5 times. Inhale slowly, hold it for 5 seconds, and then exhale slowly out of your mouth. Do that to kind of release some of the stress of the day or the pending stress of yesterday. Do that to kind of get a moment to yourself to center your atmosphere. Also, maybe you may want to start writing in your book by asking yourself some questions. What am I feeling right now? Because this is about you. This isn't Dear Diary. This is Dear Andrea, Dear Kashara, Dear Lupe, Dear Susu, Dear Bianca. What is Bianca feeling? What am I feeling right now? What am I feeling right now? Why am I angry? Why am I feeling angry right now? Another question you can ask is, why am I sad? Whatever your emotion is. You know, why am I feeling what I'm feeling right now? What happened? How do I feel about it? Why am I so fixated on that? What's going on? Why did I have that response when that happened? You know, if you don't have anything to think about, to write about initially, sit down and just re-examine your day. You know, wow, maybe I could have handled that differently. Why was that so burdensome to me? Why did I have to be heard on that situation? And sit there and think, really ask yourself and search for an answer, because sometimes you'll find that it's some hurt in the past, or maybe I wasn't heard. I don't like not being heard. And where does that come from, and why? And why am I in so much conflict with everybody? Why did I find it so important to lie about that? Why did I blame so and so, and rather than taking accountability for myself? Why is it that I find myself going over there and I know it's not a healthy place for me to be? Why am I so angry? Why am I? Ask yourself, dig in deep, get in there. Also, if something is bothering you and you can't get started writing, ask yourself the following: what's going on? What's going on with me? What's happening? Why am I blocked right now? What's going on? Or is there really a problem, or am I making the situation bigger than what it is? Is this my drama? Is this me dramatizing stuff? Is this really a problem, or is it just something that's occupying my mind that I need to shift on past? Also, you can ask yourself, how do I really feel about this? Rather than just, okay, all right, we're good. Yeah, it's okay. No, how do I really feel about it? Also, what can I do about it? Write it, because you might find some amazing solutions. What can I do about it? And if you find that I can't do anything about it right now, write that. I feel powerless because I can't think of anything I can do about it right now. But guess what? We all have some choices. We all have some options, but sometimes we don't see our options. But let's take that moment to sit with ourselves. And if I don't see any options today, if I don't find a choice today, it's okay. We'll be sitting here tomorrow doing the same thing. Also, allow words to flow. Allow the words to flow. Don't worry about punctuation, grammar. It's your book. It ain't nobody else's business. If you spell the with an A, it don't matter. It don't matter. Don't even get caught up on that, because the main issue here is getting to get these things out and getting to know you. So doing this can help prevent you from blaming other people and things for how you feel. Anytime you write about something, it becomes much clearer to you, and it can also help you to avoid emotional buildup, and that can lead to relapse. So any comments on that before we close? Anyone's going to challenge themselves to journal? Unmute your phone and share. Anyone currently journaling?
Sister Lupa here. I think that's a very good idea. Just to start, it will help me to express whatever feelings through paper. And it'll help me keep my mouth shut and just go right about it.
Wow. Okay. Amen. Excellent. I love that. Anyone else?
I plan to get a journal and start journaling.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you.
I as well. Maybe I can find myself, okay, with my likes and, dislikes. I know my dislikes some of, but my likes, what I want to do, just time to yourself.
Yes.
And I'm about to be amazed myself. Okay, then.
Awesome. Awesome. Anyone else?
Yes. So, I let me say this. I've started writing a book,
Okay.
and outside of that, I've always wanted to journal, always wanted to write down some things. And I believe writing it down, going back, looking at it, viewing it over and over, I believe that's a form of therapy. And I believe that with that, you could conquer, whatever the thing, the anger, what made you angry, knowing that you overcame it by looking at what you've journaled. You
Yeah.
overcame it because it didn't kill you and it
Right.
didn't take you out. So once you realize that you've journaled and you've gotten past that, knowing in your heart and in your mind, if I gotten past this, I can continue on. I can soar on out of this.
That's
So
right.
I think that will be the next thing. Just starting to journal will be a blessing. I believe that.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, guess what, guys? We are going to start our journaling. Please take the time that you need this weekend. Like I say, go to the 99-cent store, which isn't the 99-cent store anymore, or the Dollar Tree, or maybe you have something in your home. But don't do scattered pieces of paper. Bring your thoughts to your journal, because at some point, it's just like Sister Kashara said, you'll be able to look back and you'll be able to find yourself. You'll be able to see that you've conquered some areas of your life and how you surpassed them. And one day you'll be able to look back and you'll be able to see how far you've come inwardly. We're not talking about a new house, a new car. We're not talking, all of those are achievements. But right now, we're talking about self-improvement. Because guess what? I heard this young lady, she used to go to a church of long years ago, that she stood up and she said this saying. She had written down this little short story. She said she got up one day and she said, "You gotta go. You gotta go. You have tore up my life. You have caused me all kind of despair. You have caused all this distress. You have got to go. You got to go right now. Go pack your stuff. I'm putting you in the car and I'm taking you way out, because I am so tired of these railroads in my life that's ending up in brick walls. I'm tired of this. You got to go. You got to go. You got to go." And she said she went. She said she threw him in the car. She got in the car. She drove far, 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 far away for hours and hours and hours. And she pulled into this desolate land, opened the door and said, now get out, and don't you come back. Slammed her door, did a U-turn, drove all the way back home, marched up the stairs, went into her living room, past her dining room, went into the hallway, into her bathroom, looked in the mirror and said, what are you still doing here? What are you doing back here? We can't get rid of ourselves, so we're going to have to fix
Wow.
ourselves. We can't get rid of ourselves, guys. We can't get rid of the problems that we're causing. We can move to another house. We can move to another car. We can moving to another city. I moved to Anaheim, running away from me, but I had to come on back. I had this dream that one day I was going to go to San Jose, and San Jose was going to make my life perfect. I felt that changing locations could help me. You ever been there where you just wanted to move far, 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 far away because you felt like that was going to be the solution? I've never even been to San Jose, but it looked beautiful on the record album. And I always had it in my mind that I want to move to San Jose. And guess what? I found that if I take Andrea to San Jose, I'm going to get the same outcome. So we got to change ourselves. Bianca, are you trying to share?
Oh no, I was just like, wow, that was a good one here. I was waiting to hear who that person was.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And these are life lessons that we've learned. We can't get rid of ourselves because guess what? We'll meet ourselves right back at home in the mirror. What are you doing here? Well, I'm not going anywhere until you go somewhere. So therefore, let's change so that we can have a better life. Because when we look in the mirror, we're still there. All of our shenanigans, all of our hurt, all of our anger, our deprivation, all of our loneliness, all of our issues, our unwanted behaviors, those things that cause us pain in our lives, they're still in us. So let's learn how to maybe transition into a more better us, a new and improved us. So thank you so much, guys. Is there any other questions, comments, or statements before we close out today?
I just want to say thank you for your obedience and thank you for this class. Thanks everybody who is participating. I will love to get my hands on whatever you're reading because it's something that I would like to explore. And definitely, I'm getting me a journal, and the breathing exercise, and also I just want to include some light exercise as well. It's very healthy. I went today and I feel starting to feel the burn. So I feel that now my body wants it, my mind. I was so sleepy, I didn't want to go, but I noticed that I was feeling very irritated. For some reason, I'm just feeling like, I guess I'm, PMS, whatnot. So I'm like, it's not so much for your body that comes, but
Right.
it's like for your mental health.
Yes.
Yes. But thank you so much.
Thank you, Sister Lupe. Thank you so much. That's beautifully said. Awesome. Anyone else before we close out this morning? Well, all right. All right. Hey, we got a couple of minutes. I am going to read to you our final thought for the day. Thank you so much. Accepting risk, facing reality. Like it or not, life seems to have certain risks that just cannot be avoided. Sometimes we are not really comfortable with taking risks. This is especially true in situations that include the risk of rejection, risk of defeat, and the risk of loss. If we try to get through life without accepting some risk, however, we're simply not being realistic. The refusal to accept risk may also mean that we miss wonderful opportunities in the process. What should we do? We should face risk intelligently and with spiritual preparation. First, we do everything possible to reduce risk in any situation, thus making it a calculated risk. Then we pray for guidance and inspiration, but not a certain outcome. That's the key. Many times we're always praying for what we want, but sometimes what God has for us has to come in a different direction. So we're not praying for outcomes, we're praying for his guidance. Finally, we do our very best to succeed in the situation, whether it's a courtship, a job search, competition in sports, or whatever it is. We might surprise ourselves by succeeding more times than we fall. But even in temporary failure, we gain if we follow through in accepting reasonable and necessary risks. So today, I'll exercise prudence and good judgment in all my undertakings today, but I won't expect to be able to play it safe in everything. As a human being, I have to take risk in life. God bless you guys. I love you so. Remember, live free, guys. Live free. We're living free today. We're not being bound by no behaviors, no thoughts, no emotions. We're living free today. So God bless you all. Have a blessed and prosperous day and live free. God bless you.